I'm Charles Aite. Now, the Association of Ghana Industries is warning of a possible collapse of local manufacturing industries if government does not review the 50% benchmark policy on imported products. Ahead of the budget, the AGI has urged government to exempt sectors such as agribusiness, pharmaceutical and heavy industry from the policy. It has already sent the proposal to the finance minister. The vice president of the association, Henry Dake, says that the 50% benchmark value sets an unfair market competition in the country.
The concern of AGI is that the benchmark value policy that was introduced within the said period has been inimical to manufacturers, specifically between the agrarian businesses and the value addition processes within our manufacturing space. Examples: 1. Local manufacturing is collapsing with the influx of finished imports. Finished imports equally enjoying 50% reduction in their benchmark value. Some of these imports to Ghana already enjoy significant export rebates from their countries of origin. Locally manufactured products, including those for which Ghana already has local production capacity and comparative advantage, have been under serious threat from imports, considering the 50% policy implementation over the period. The situation is further worsened if imports of finished goods are not registered and captured under the VAT scheme and therefore upselling their products in our market without charging any front-end VAT levies. The influx of cheaper imports is making local production highly uncompetitive and discourage investment in the affected sectors. Example, the palm oil industry. The reduction in the benchmark value of imported refined vegetable cooking oil will discourage potential investors for the oil palm sector. Ghana cannot become a net exporter of crude and refined palm oil products to further increase its foreign income reserves. Ghana will need about 100 million to import crude palm oil annually if this policy persists.
Now, take a listen to the president of the Rice Farmers Association, Yao Edupoku, who spells out the damage the benchmark values are having on rice farmers in Ghana.
Most of us who are feed millers have closed shop. We have closed because we cannot compete with the influx coming from India. Now, what is happening now as I'm talking is that we grow soy in the northern sector, and then it's exported to India, where it goes to be milled, and then the oil is extracted from the cake, and then the cake is brought back to Ghana and sold to the poultry farmers. But we have millers in Ghana that can even produce to export to the neighboring countries. This is what has happened because of this benchmark situation that we find ourselves in. Come to the rice sector. I just came back from BC. I got in this morning. And about 80% of those buying rice, paddy rice, currently in Ghana are Nigerians. Because the government did a proactive policy for rice millers in Nigeria. He closed the border and stopped rice, milled rice, from coming into Nigeria until rice grown in Nigeria is bought. And within 3 months, no rice could be found in Nigeria, and that's a fact. So they started going outside to buy paddy rice. They don't care whether it's parboiled, brown rice, blue rice. They just buy because Nigerians eat parboiled. So we are competing currently with the Nigerian buyers, and we cannot match them. What is happening is that we've opened our back door wide enough for the importers to bring in rice, which is heavily subsidized because, for example, Thailand do their rice targeting the West African market. We are their major exporters, buyers. So this is what is happening. If the policies are not made to enhance growth, then we are in trouble. Because of this, a lot of us have laid down our workers. For example, I work only 3 months in the year, whether it's in the soya end or the rice end, because of this kind of policies. This is why we are passionate about this benchmark situation being reversed, especially for the agrarian and the pharmaceutical sectors, and for the auto industry that we want to promote here, but not for anything. Like you want to bring biscuits, and then you are paying 50% for biscuits. What is that for?
Well, we have tried to reach the Ghana Union of Traders Association. They are scheduled to have a press conference on this matter on Monday. We shall keep you posted on that, especially when they're also sharing the expectation ahead of the budget hearing. But away from that, let's talk corporate governance, because the first dean of the UPSA Graduate School and president of the Lawe Open University, Goski Alabi, says corporate governance in the public sector is virtually absent. She wants governments to relinquish their responsibility of appointing CEOs to their respective governing boards. According to her, constituted boards must hold the sole responsibility of appointing CEOs if they want results and efficiency in the sector. She spoke to Odelia in Tamwa.
I would like us to make a distinction between corporate governance in the private sector and corporate governance, as it were, in the public sector. In the public sector, I think we need to critically look at that. First of all, it is for me problematic that you have the appointing authority of the board chairman as the same as the CEOs of the public sector. Many of the laws establishing the public sector organizations are like that. So, for example, you would have the president appointing the chairman of a board, and the same president appointing the CEO of that organization. That CEO may not really take the board as seriously as it should, because the board didn't appoint him or her.
That's true.
It is one of the first flaws that I see
in government institutions.
In government institutions. I happened to have done a few corporate governance trainings for the Public Services Commission when Madam Beatrice Katuku was then the head. And so I had the opportunity to look a little into what happens there. And this was one of the key things. But having said this...
No, I still want you to stay there. Could this, for example, be the reason why many of them haven't really been profitable? Or you will say that government has really no business doing business?
I wouldn't say that government has no business doing business. It depends on what our concept of business is. But because there are certain businesses like social-oriented services that government must provide for the people. However, I believe that when the structures are right and the systems are right, accountability would be, would be upheld, and transparency may gain a little space, you see. But where you have the ultimate authority controlling CEO, controlling board chair, then the boards to start with are weak. Because mind you, The boards at most will meet once in a month, but traditionally once in a quarter. And it is the information that is put before them that they work with. Now, if the management decide that they are not going to provide, the board cannot do much. But the CEOs, who are the executives, they execute, they are in charge of managing the finances, the day-to-day administration, have a lot to do to make the organizations work or not to work, because they implement the policies and the strategies of the board, and they are the spending officers.
So to you, the CEOs should not be elected by government?
No.
Or the president?
No.
So at least the president can do the board chair, but not...
But not the CEO, so that the board is empowered to appoint the CEOs, and then the board would have the authority to hold the CEOs accountable. Because the CEOs know that they are appointed by the board, they would have some respect for them.
But isn't this just like taking money from your left and putting it in your right? The board is selected by the president. The board goes to select the CEO. Especially the same. It's like it has the same mind as the president, isn't it? It's
different.
Okay.
Because once the president appoints the board in a way now becomes quite autonomous in a way to ensure that it is now them. The buck stops with them. But in the situation where if you have a problem, you are going to the president. In fact, sometimes the CEO of a public corporation or a public organization can walk straight to the president and even call the president on a daily basis than you can do.
As a board chair.
As a board chairman, because you probably don't control the purse. You know, the spending. You are not the spending authority. The CEO is the spending authority, and that's very powerful.
You're still watching The Marketplace. Now, have you realized the size of a bowl of beans has reduced or the price has gone up? Well, in Kumasi, sellers of gari and beans, also known as gobe, are no longer selling for 1 cedi. Now, this is because the price of beans has shot up by 100% since October. And of course, consumers have started feeling the pinch of this particular price build-up. Love FM's Anita Sewa Ajuja explores the economic impact of gobe in the Ashanti region and has come through with this report.
My name is Godbless Nyama.
22-year-old Godbless Nyama loves gari and beans. That is his go-to meal every day before the day ends. A day without eating this food means he has to spend more.
And beans is one of my favorite foods. With 4 cedis, I'll get satisfied and it can keep me for the whole day.
His daily budget has been affected due to the price increase of his favorite meal. As a student, the meal sustains him through the day at a minimal cost, but the situation is different now.
With 4 cedis, I used to get satisfied. It could sustain me till the rest of the day. But now it's either I go for a second round or I increase the amount that I'm going to buy.
Efia Mansa carefully pounds this quantity of beans in a mortar. This activity is to easily separate chaff from the beans properly before she cooks it. She then pours the beans on a perforated wooden tray, rubs her hands on the beans to get rid of the chaffs. This is meant for her gobe food joint at Eija in Kumasi. Though a sack of beans is expensive, Mansa complains the sack is full of chaffs.
You can see that the beans is full of chaffs. Our customers get angry when we refuse to sell the beans at 1 cedi.
Just like other gobe sellers, she has increased the price of her beans to stay in business.
Although we have increased the beans to 1 cedi 50 pesos, I'm unable to make enough profits.
Beans
Beans in retail are often sold in locally measured cups, container bowls, and sometimes bags for wholesale. A cup of beans in the Kumasi Central Market was sold at 2 cedis 50 pesos between January and September. But it has suddenly shot up to 5 Ghana cedis per cup.
Because each time we went to buy, they increase the price of the beans. Yeah, they complain. Some even when they come, they refuse to buy because of the price.
A bag of imported beans from neighboring French-speaking countries sold between 300 cedis and 400 cedis at the beginning of the year is now sold at 600 Ghana cedis. Alhaji Baba is an importer of the staple food. He attributes the increase to the safer and high cost of fertilizer prices.
Beans no ni bebere free France country ena eba. France country e free bano. Sefa na ya de kofa ebi fi Burkina ebi fi Niger enti sefa no akosoro sama yakofa.
We import most of the beans from French countries, but the safer keeps increasing. Now most of the importers are unable to buy the beans.
Price no wasoro ya ankasa bebere kura ntimi fa ne manamba ya ho kire ya papa.
Meanwhile, Baba's customer, Comfort, says she is unable to buy beans in large quantities due to the high price coupled with increase in fuel prices.
First, ukita 20 million out in Fanema. Now, so I feel way dear. No, ukita 20 million. What beans are you bagging me?
I can only afford to buy 2 bags of beans with an amount of 2,000 Ghana cedis.
Well, it is evident that until the Ghana cedi stops depreciating and fuel prices are reduced, food prices will still keep going high. Anita Sewa Ajoga's report read to you.
Well, you have seen that for yourself, so don't be surprised when the bean seller tells you that a cup of beans is no longer what you expected it to be. We shall keep an eye on this, especially here in Accra, where we're also experiencing hikes in several commodities such as maize. But, of course, still to come in the bulletin, government worried over the rising importation of used cars in the country, as over 200,000 of them entered the country last year alone.
As of last year, the statistics shows that we've done over 200,000 cars. Just about 10.
More used cars are coming in now.
Used cars are coming into the country, of course, with the 10 years caveat.
Of course, we'll hear from the Deputy Transport Minister Hassan Tampoli as the situation frustrates the fight against climate change. To stay with us. And of course, you're welcome back. Government is worried over the rising importation of used vehicles into the country. It has emerged that last year alone, over 20,000 of such vehicles were cleared at our ports. The high carbon emission rates of such vehicles, experts say, are fast contributing to the worsening climate conditions in the world. It is the reason the ongoing UN Climate Change Conference in Glasgow is seriously pushing countries to transition from fossil fuel-powered vehicles to electronic ones. The transport ministers from across the world have been meeting over this in Glasgow. Ghana's Deputy Transport Minister Hassan Tampoli is representing Ghana, and he has been speaking to my colleague Seth Kwame Boateng about Ghana on this matter.
We have a policy that used cars that are 10 years old, more than 10 years, should not be imported into the country. Now, over time, 10 years ago, let me say 2010, the number of used cars that used to be imported into Ghana were a little less than 100,000 cars. As of last year, the statistics shows that we've done over 200,000 cars. Just about 10.
More used cars are coming in now.
Used cars are coming into the country, of course, with the 10 years caveat. Now, out of the number of vehicles that get imported into Ghana, about 80% or more are used cars. Now, if you...
Is this a serious thing? that we should be concerned about?
Of course, it's a concern. So we are looking at it from the importer's perspective, and we are looking also at the exporters, the suppliers' perspective. What it is that we can do together, having regard also to the fact that income levels are low, so many people cannot afford to buy new vehicles. So we have to do a very delicate balance. I'm not sure how many tier-rubber cars you've bought before, but a whole lot of us rely on the used cars. Now, if you are going to transition all these used cars out of the system, what do we do? Now, that's where the issue of electronic vehicles comes to the picture. If you are going to do that transition, do we go back to fossil fuel vehicles, or we now go straight into the EVs? Now, the EVs, bear in mind, the initial cost is so expensive. So then it puts the acquisition of cars way beyond the reach
of the ordinary,
of the ordinary Ghanaian. So then we are doing all this delicate balance. Of course, you have to also look at the fact that if we are going to get to that stage, then it means that we need to have higher occupancy basis.
Now, Quality Life Insurance Company have launched a new product onto the market dubbed the Golden Age Comprehensive Insurance Policy. Now, the policy that targets baby boomers on the market covers vehicle against fire, theft, plus a loss or damage to impact, collision, or overturning of the vehicle. We have more in this report. The Golden Age Comprehensive Insurance Policy seeks to redefine aging for baby boomers, that are people born between 1946 and 1964, with a spirit of creativity. It provides 24-hour free non-insurance benefits, which includes 24-hour on-call services, guaranteed courtesy call at the time of a claim, facilitation of home medical laboratory services, and automatic renewal of policy at expiry. Policyholders will also enjoy payment for total loss of vehicles, payment of basic first aid costs for injuries by insured and other occupants, and refund of reasonable towing costs. Here is the managing director of the company, Kwabena Addison, explaining the need for the introduction of this new policy.
This is a launch of a very innovative product, Golden Age Comprehensive Insurance. It gives you everything that you can get from comprehensive insurance, and it has other add-on non-insurance benefits. A courtesy car in the time that your car is accidented. It will also facilitate the taking of blood samples at the comfort of your home. We will pay for an annual eye test. We will pay for an annual PSA test. We will pay for an annual cervical and breast cancer test. And we are on call 24 hours for anybody who is a baby boomer. And finally, we do have automatic renewal. So what we are saying is that 48 hours after your policy expires, if you have not renewed it and you get a car accident, we will ask you to pay the premium and we will pay the claim. And that is the first of its kind in this country. It's the baby boomer generation who are better drivers, who have more wealth to spend, who know exactly what they want, needed a policy that was unique to them and targeted at them. So that is why we are here today. We developed the Golden Age Insurance Policy, and this seeks to provide comfort for baby boomers, people born between the ages, people who are 65, 55 and older.
The baby boomer generation is the largest segment of consumers, comprising about 40% of market share in Ghana. James Ishen's report for Joy Business. And that'll be it for the marketplace. I'm Charles Aite. Many thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of our bulletins this day.